Hello everyone, this is Michelle Patterson here with Angel Souls, and this is your weekly Angel Oracle card reading for the week beginning February 13th, 2017. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. For this week, I believe we're going to be using the Archangel's Oracle deck and the Romance Angels deck by Doreen Virtue, and then of course pulling a card from Rochelle Sharman's deck, the Crystal Reading Oracle cards. If you would like to get a personal reading with me, you can go to my website at angelsouls444.com, the services tab. Now, as soon as you submit your payment, you should be immediately directed over to the submission form. Please do not ignore this, okay? That is how I know who is next in line for a reading. So if you don't fill out the submission form, you're not really securing your place in line. I don't know that you've, submitted it, so that you don't get overlooked, just make sure you fill out that submission form, okay? And if you'd like to support me on Patreon, that's always a great help. I'll leave that information down below. And of course, don't forget about Gumroad, the courses, the extra readings. We have the year overview over there, love readings, prosperity readings, you name it. Now, I do have a little bit, I'm getting over a cold, so please forgive me if it sounds stuffy. We're going to do what we can here. All right, so let's get into it here. Let me just clear out the deck here. Let's see what's coming up for the week of February 13th. I'm going to tell you, Uriel is a great big presence here. So this feels like tapping into divine love, really seeing what your purpose is, really. And see, when we talk about purpose, everybody wants to think about, and this is fine because it's part of it, but everybody just kind of centers in on the career. And what does it mean if, am I supposed to, how do I identify myself? I guess is the best way to put it. What is my identity? And the angels say, please release that. There's no reason for you to box yourself in to an identity and just put a label on yourself. And your path, your purpose, it's all encompassing. It's who you love. It's who loves you. It's what you do for a career. It's, what you do as your hobby. It's the lessons that you learn, so on and so forth. So Uriel is asking you to really tap into his energy this week, okay? Transmute all the negativity. We'll see, we have Zadkiel here. Yes, Zadkiel. And we have comfort. So some of us are recovering from last week, maybe. Have patience, okay? Yeah, and prioritize. I'm getting the very distinct feeling that everything's okay, but some of you might need a minute to catch up with yourselves. So if you've had major happenings, especially in the past week, this is the week where you're kind of making sense of it and trying to piece it all together and figuring out, okay, how do I go from here? Now, instead of using the ego, and I would even dare say, I know it's going to sound crazy, but even your intellect, if you lean too heavily on your intellect and you ignore your instincts, your intellect's just going to have you following the same old rules, and you're going to have the same outcome, right? So this is a time where it's integration. It's integrating your instincts with that intellect and allowing some wisdom to come through your choices, okay? So this might find you taking some chances or thinking about taking some chances. I just heard the word revelation. Like some of you might have had like a huge revelation, like, oh, I want to have a family, or I'm ready for love, or man, I really don't like this job and it's, not in alignment with who I am. These sorts of things. Okay, so the first card we have here is Clairaudience, Archangel Zadkiel, again, who's all about transmutation. And you can do that through the Violet Flame meditation. You can find that all over YouTube. So really be working on your energy this week, guys. If you're in a state of negativity, or you're feeling guilt or shame, or whatever kind of lower frequency emotions you might be experiencing right now, you can turn that around. You can absolutely turn your perspective around and raise it up into a positive kind of place. Now, this is not to say do the fake positivity thing, and deny your feelings. A lot of people do that, and they even get judgmental about others who are not doing it that way. Thinking that they're better than them. It's all an ego pursuit, guys. So be careful doing that. You don't want to judge other people and be like, oh my gosh, you're so negative. Well, they're having their journey, okay? They're on their path. They're having their moment. And people are coming through their emotions now, okay? So make sure, not denial, but transmuting, okay? Looking at what you're dealing with, acknowledging it, and then flowing through it. Okay, so Clairaudience is the card. Notice the loving guidance you hear inside your mind or from other people. So there could be a lot of beautiful signs coming to you. This also, to me, yes, it's about the signs and the messages coming through, but it's also about sort of using and this has been coming up a lot in personal readings as well, but using sound as a therapy, and that would be Archangel Sandalphon kind of energy. Using tuning forks. I actually have angelic frequencies and tuning forks sitting right here. Doing that, or solfeggio, or doing those kinds of things to kind of get you into the miracle wavelength. Okay, because we are going to be discovering 2017. I think is going to be a big year of, I'm going to use the word disclosure, but I don't know that it's necessarily any big public, I mean, maybe, but, big public figure coming out and telling us stuff, but it's our own personal disclosure. It's, us finally being in the space where we're ready to understand more, right? That's why I always thought it was kind of weird. Well, not weird, but, it was just something I didn't want to engage in when everybody was trying to find the right answer. I'm like, yeah, I feel like we're never going to figure it out. And when it's time for us to know, we'll be, told with a lot of clarity exactly what's going on. So I think that's the kind of year that we're setting up here, where little by little, each of you, as you're ready, will get a little bit more wisdom, a little bit more understanding, so on and so forth. So for some of you, yes, it is hearing through other people, or maybe your angels are talking to you. I am clairaudient, so I totally get that. And no, I don't think you're crazy, because I've experienced it. Or this could just be attuning yourself and your energies and getting yourself into a higher frequency through, like we were saying, sound therapy. Okay. Now, we have this comfort card, and it's Archangel Azrael. Now, Azrael is all about transformation. Yes? So last week it could have been like, like you felt like your life got wrecked, or maybe it was good, like it got wrecked, but you're like, oh, but I hated that job and I'm glad it's gone now, and yet you don't know what's coming up next. So you're maybe feeling like, especially in the beginning of the week, like you're in a purgatory. Some of you, because it's Valentine's Day, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves. Guys, if you're out there trying to figure out what to do for wives, or you know what I mean, or whoever, anybody's trying to do something for their love partner. Or if you're single and you feel like you don't have anybody, that's like a human-made kind of, it's just another ploy. It's just another way to drag us down. I love Valentine's Day. The cheesier, the better. I mean, it just makes me feel like a little kid again, and that's why I like it, because I remember being in elementary school and putting the little Valentines in the, specially decorated little bags, little sandwich bags, or not sandwich bags, they were lunch bags, like white lunch bags. I used to get such a kick out of it. But anyway, besides that, I mean, I don't put too much stock in Valentine's Day. I'm like, yeah, so what if I don't have a date? Who cares? But not everybody's like that. So here's like another, just a simplistic kind of example of how we get kind of controlled. Do you know what I mean? And so if that is kind of, again, it's a very simplistic way of being controlled, but it really does put people, I mean, I've seen people get depressed at this time of year because they don't have anybody. Well, you didn't have anybody yesterday. Why is today any different than yesterday? Kind of thing. So really be mindful of that. Really be mindful of where your emotions are getting pulled. And again, the comfort card, I think, is talking about recovering from transformation. So whether it's a huge thing or something as small as Valentine's Day and you just don't have a date, whatever the case may be for you, they're offering comfort for you. Okay, so it says, I am with you in your time of need, helping your heart to heal. Now that's really beautiful too. And I'm getting the feeling too that a lot of people have had to, come to terms with a lot of heartbreak and coming to terms with who they are becoming. Sorry about that, guys. The cold was overtaking me there for just a second. Like I said, I'm over it. I'm perfectly capable of doing this reading, I promise. But you know how it is at the end of a cold. It just started, like the coughing started coming. So anyway, we were saying you're coming to terms with who you are now. And that, I mean, it's kind of what we've been talking about for a long time. When you start changing, you have to start changing your approach to things. You have to start changing maybe even who you're with, or, how you live, or where you live, or whatever, some really big steps that need to be taken. And so this might be, I'm feeling like right in like 13th, 14th. Now, the angels aren't big on linear time. A lot of them have not experienced a human experience. And, linear time is a human convention. But me as a human, being your messenger, I can try to interpret that as best as I can to say that it'll be right in the beginning of the week, like Monday, Tuesday, where you're just like, you're having to come to terms with something. Like somebody just blew your mind. I mean, it could have been something really beautiful. Like somebody said, hey, I love you, and maybe it was your best friend and you did not see it coming. And now you have to figure out how you feel about this whole situation. Whatever it is, this is a week of catching up with yourself and with the events that have transpired. okay? Or if you are in a very low place for some other reason, God forbid if something really, really major happened in your life, Azrael can help you through that as well, okay? Some of you, yes, you're grieving this week, but again, this is not saying that anything bad's going to happen. We grieve for a lot of stuff. I mean, I know when I was going through some work, I would kind of grieve for who I used to be as a little girl and what she experienced and everything she had to go through, and, you know, grieving for that woman that I was in my 20s, and, you know, so on and so forth. So sometimes you do grieve for who you used to be, especially when you're coming into a next phase, because there sometimes, it depends on your perspective, I suppose, but it can kind of feel like the old you sort of died and like you've abandoned who you used to be. So again, understanding that you're just integrating and you are ascending, right? There's that word, there's that buzzword, again, can still come with a little bit of grief. So just keep that in mind. Again, it's not a bad thing and you'll get through it, but that might be kind of what you're dealing with in the beginning of the week. And we have these two guys right here, right? We have Zadkiel and Azrael, who's all about transmutation and transformation, helping you get through. Okay, now be patient with yourself this week. All is well. It's all going to go just fine. But we have Archangel Jophiel here, and the card is patience. And Jophiel is the angel of beauty, and she, you know, it's not just about physical beauty and feeling good about yourself, but it's about seeing the beauty in everything. You know, even beauty in situations. You know, if you suffered a breakup, God forbid, let's say somebody broke up last week, there's still beauty in maybe having completed a soul contract moment, or, you know, there's beauty in helping one another out and then releasing one another. That's what she asks you to do, to really look at your situation not as all bad, but what's the beauty in it? How did it help you? How is it helping you grow? You know, so on and so forth. So it says, your dreams are blooming more rapidly than you realize. Still, they need nurturing and patience. So again, some of you might feel a little lost this week. You might be feeling like, oh my gosh, the old way is gone. I don't know how to carry forward. What am I supposed to be doing? Take it easy. Everything is okay. It's all working out. They just had to sort of clear the slate before they could bring something else in. Okay? Then we have Metatron here. And the card is prioritize. So again, don't give your energy to things that aren't worth it, or they're transient, or a moment is done, so let it go. Some of you might be experiencing some closure this week, which could, you know, make you feel like you need to be a little bit comforted as well. So Archangel Metatron says, focus on your highest priorities. I will help you get organized and motivated. But this is moving forward. This is, you know, again, in the beginning of the week, you might feel like you don't know your path. You don't know where you're heading. You don't know where this is going, you know, kind of thing. But towards like Thursday, Friday even, we start to get a different take, okay? We start to figure out, okay, I could take this one step and then this step, and that could lead to this step. Don't plan too far into the future, okay? That's not going to do you any favors. It's going to find you dwelling in the future and not being present. And you need to be here in order to make the future happen, all right? So Metatron, if you work with Metatron, he can help you understand kind of where you've been, sort of like a Jeremiah, because he's with the Akashic Records, right? He's all about the Akashic Records, the book of life. So like Jeremiah, it can help you understand where you've been, where you are now, where you're heading, but to not get too wound up, yes, in the old stories or the story that's still to come, okay? So he can definitely help out with that as well. Coming to terms with what's truly important, yes? So even if you lost some, like, again, God forbid, but let's say you lost some material thing last week, okay? And now you are kind of trying to be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that happened, blah, blah, blah. But maybe you look at your children and they're playing and they're happy. And again, you see the beauty in that, right? And then you start going, okay, you know what? I don't need to give my energy over to that thing that happened. I'm very fortunate to have children. I'm very fortunate that they are happy, you know, whatever the case may be. And you see what I'm saying? Now you start focusing on the good stuff and starting to focus on what really matters instead of wasting all the energy on the little things, I guess. Okay, so we'll see how many romance cards come out. But because it is Valentine's Day week, I figured we would do this. Let me just clear this deck out. All right. Okay. I almost dropped the whole deck. Let's see what we have here. Oh, there you are. I see you. Okay, come on out. And we're going to get two of them. Healing family issues is one. and honeymoon is 2. Now this is funny because these cards can be taken a lot of different ways. But let's start with the first one. We have healing family issues, again, which might be the thing that you need to be comforted about, okay? Your love life benefits as you forgive your parents. That's what the card says. But, I mean, it could go a lot deeper than that. You are, feeling like you... Go ahead. You're recognizing some of the patterns, some of the things. We've talked about this before. Some of the patterns that you might have taken on from your family, some of the belief systems, and you're really letting some of that go now. So if you raised a family where everyone gets divorced, you might have thought, well, it's just my fate. The first sign of trouble in my marriage, well, that's just how it goes. And you're stopping yourself now and going, no, it doesn't have to be like that. I'm going to heal that pattern. I don't have to take that on, okay? Now, last week we had, for the crystal card, we have, what was that? Ancestors. So kind of goes in line with that same thing. So maybe you did discover some family patterns, and now this is the week that you're really coming to terms with it and allowing it to heal. And what it's saying is your love life improves. So now you open your heart more. Now you're not so afraid of people. Maybe you're not trying to push people out or push a spouse out or, someone that you're just committed to. You're actually willing to bond with them and open your heart up. Okay? Then we have this honeymoon card. So I feel like it's a nice outcome. Now we can do honeymoon like honeymoon, right? It's sort of the honeymoon. It could be literal. Maybe you're literally going on a honeymoon. But this is sort of just because you're clearing away so much this week. This is just sort of taking a break and sort of reconnecting. Okay? And again, be it in the honeymoon phase of a relationship. Or if you're single, this could be you just treating yourself or meeting somebody as you're traveling. You know what I mean? But this is just a space of happiness and celebration, however you want to interpret it. Okay. The card says, enjoy the bliss of holiday time together. Again, if you're single, guess what? I have, treated myself to plenty of honeymoons. Okay. Like if I just feel like going off and giving myself a break, I will do it. So don't think for a second like, oh, this is no good. I'm not having a love partner come in. Okay. Again, why is it so important that it be this week? Because of Valentine's Day? You were single yesterday. And you might be single tomorrow as well. Okay? When it's time, within divine timing, love will come to you. All right. Now, if you hear any background noise, that's the neighbor upstairs, and I do apologize. And I can hear people going, she did it again. She apologized. I know. And if I don't apologize, people complain about that too. I don't know what you want from me. All right. So let's get the crystal card. It doesn't matter. Again, we're prioritizing, right? We don't care about everything. Well, you don't have to give everything your attention, I suppose. All right. And also, I never know, because to me, it sounded very, very loud. Like it sounded like kind of like a boom, but I have this tiny little microphone on me, so it might not pick up. But just in case. All right. Crystal card. Let's do it. Let's see what we have. Okay, I'm seeing blue crystals. We'll see what comes up, but you might want to pull out, and it's about the throat, and it's about expression and being true to yourself and speaking your truth to others. But let's see what this is. Yeah, okay. Calcite. So I'm going to add to that message because I was seeing blue crystals. So if you have any of those, that could also be aquamarine, celestite, communicating with the angels. So we have calcite, relaxation. So your nerves need a minute this week because, as much as we want to hurry through our lessons, sometimes we just can't. But by the end of the week, you're going to have to slow down a little bit. Don't be pushing. Don't try to make too many things happen. It's all about releasing, relaxing, retreating, giving yourself a minute, all right? We keep saying this, to catch up with you. So give yourself permission to do that. That will actually, especially if you're spending time in meditation and you're relaxing that way, that's where you're going to you'll hear a lot of your messages coming through as well. Okay, guys? So there it is. Have a beautiful week. And of course, I'm sending you so much love. Take care.